Is this the best Warhammer kit of all time? No, it's not. Hi, my name is Paul from Sunwood Hobbies, and let's find the good and the bad of this kit together. So, right off the bat, you'll notice that despite being marketed as a super heavy mega dreadnought, for the size and scale of it, it's quite anemic, the box, surprisingly so. And why is that a negative? I can't cut! It's a negative because in total, there are 2.5 sprues in here. This is not really a third sprue, considering the size of the box. This is 2.5, right? But you're like, per sprue, there's actually a lot of parts. Guys, 90% of those parts are to build the main body. And you're like, well, what's the issue with that? That makes a lot of sense. You are building the kit. The issue with that is this is not the preferred weapons of anyone who is trying to build this kit. The preferred weapons are the ones in the Saturnine box set, which is this huge box. And in order to get the preferred ones, or at least the ones that have the FOMO marketing, because these are exclusive to the set, you'd have to get the entire box, right? And by the way, yeah, they are the exact same. See, exact same body, just different weapon attachments. They are universal, at least for this type of body. You can attach them if you have both. Mix and match, right? So magnetizing is preferred if you have both. But the thing about this is that this by itself is already expensive. If you bought it straight from Games Workshop, this is over $100. And for this size and the price you're paying, that's a negative for sure. I feel like I need to address that. If I don't address it, I will be called out. It's why Gundam hobbyists or Lego hobbyists, they do bag spreads or sprue spreads, because that implies more play features for Lego creators. Or if you're in a hobby like Gundam, that means more customizability options, right? More guns, more sabers, right? Same thing with Warhammer. So this next problem is scale creep. Warhammer models seems to be getting bigger and taller. It's ridiculous. What's going on? Well, what is scale creep, right, specifically, and why is that a problem? Well, let me build the model for you, actually, and demonstrate. This is not just an issue with this kit. This is basically a negative for all of Warhammer, and I'll get to why. For the build portion, I will be using Tamiya Extra Thin, the GOAT, the LeBron James, and we will be using another LeBron James, Tamiya's sharp-pointed side cutter. Then again, I could just be an old soul. If you're an old soul, like and subscribe and comment. Thank you for watching. But right, so these kits pulled directly from our estate section, exclusively in person, are pre-owned kits that once back then, at least these kits specifically, this line, entertained someone, right? They loved building it and painting it. But like time, they wither and they fall away to the wayside and are subsequently discontinued. Now, that's not always the case. A lot of the kits do experience new additions, new parts, new tooling, right, over the course of the years, but sometimes they just get thrown to the wayside. And again, just to reiterate, this is something that is currently happening in Warhammer in real time. Again, over half my army disappeared, essentially. A little unfortunate, but it is just the reality. And I'm not saying it's going to happen to dreadnoughts. And it's, again, not even a promise of a negative. Maybe an implication of things to come in 11th edition, next year and a half or so. Who knows? Now, despite the one big negative, which is the lack of options when it comes to the weapons, we're going to talk about its biggest positive, which is the plethora of options. All of those are contradictory. What are you talking about? Let me explain, all right? I know they're contradictory, but let me explain. This is what I mean. See this image? There are 3 different head sculpts right here. Look at it. Yeah, 3 different ones. 3 different chest pieces, right? And we have the leg here, which could have had, I mean, it does, I attached the normal kind of rivets here, You know, nothing fancy. It looks normal. But then you could have easily included this instead. Little spiky, little edgier in place of where the normal one. So the spikes would have been running up here on the sides. Positive number 2. This has been an incredible building experience so far. And partially it's because of how many parts come together to make one simple leg, which is not really so simple. Yeah, basically from here all the way around there is just purely for this leg joint. And then this part right here is for its feet, right? That's it. But that's a lot of parts and a lot of satisfying parts. It's nice. I made fun of the sprue count, which is just 2.5, but they packed a lot in the sprue. And point number 3, positive point number 3, is the crazy details. Guys, this is still just the foot, right? And the leg. But the amount of details and panel lining opportunities and weathering opportunities for painting and weathering is insane. Look at that. Look at that. The detail is insane. Yeah, I said what I said about scale creep, but honestly, it's incredible. There's something satisfying and wholly satisfying about a kit, a kit with this amount of detail for this big of a size. So to further emphasize my point, this here is the inversion beamer, one of the weapons on its right arm. And look at the detail. These are like the coils, right? Some space age Jeffersons looking thing here. But the thing about it is this kind of a hidden detail because look, the actual build of the gun calls for this piece to be put on top of the weapon itself. You slide it and then you cement it. So the end product looks like that. You can't even see the inside of it, really. That is awesome detailing, guys. Wow. We're here. It's been an hour, but look at this. Look at this body. Oh my goodness gracious me. This is insane detail. Oh. And basically the front of it goes here, right? Not to glue it, of course. This one goes here, or yeah, somewhere there, right? Oh no, this one goes here, and then that one goes there. Oh yeah, there we go. Oh, look at that. Body crazy, man. We have, first time in a while that I've seen this, but there's some sort of mark there. You can kind of see it on the left side of the dome of the face. There's some white mark. That's not like a detailing part. It's almost like borderline stress fracture on the plastic itself. Now, and it was there on the sprue, so it wasn't some sort of a me thing or a my fault kind of thing. So just keep that in mind. One last thing, right, regarding final details. See these things at the top? You'll barely see that because the big shoulder pad is supposed to go over it. So look at this, right? Look at the difference. You're going to cover most of that anyway. They did it. Games Workshop did that for the love of the game. That's crazy. Yeah, this is supposed oh my goodness. This is ridiculous. Right? So I just primed the model kit with Lead Belcher, as I'm trying to make him an Iron Warrior. And speaking of Iron Warrior, what we have here is a very extensive decal sheet. Look at it. It is enormous. I think every legion's represented. Am I tripping? Yeah. I think every legion is represented here. That's crazy. Which makes sense, I guess. So, overall, this kit's a 9 out of 10. You know, well done, Games Workshop. I droned on and on in the beginning regarding its faults, I would say, right? And basically, it's really only one fault, but I gave it half a point each. That's about it, I would say. Everything else, this kit is incredible. It builds nice. I don't know where that rumor started regarding this being a terrible experience. Maybe someone had a bad time at the launch box, because this is about a month or so out when the Saturnine box came out, right? So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this complete and thorough review of the Ophion configuration of the Saturnine Dreadnought. It was a lot of fun. Again, I don't know where that rumor started that this was a terrible experience. I disagree completely. In fact, Games Workshop, hunt down that guy. I don't know who started it. Anyway, yeah, this is an excellent kit. If you can grab this, because it is going to be regular stock. The launch box will not be regular, but this one will. So yeah, hunt this down. Probably one of their best model kits they've released in the recent couple of years. I believe the Norn Emissary, in my opinion, is still the best kit they've released in the last 5 years. So I would put that in my top 1 personally. But this is probably in the top 5. Excellent. But this is top 1 build experience, though. I would say that. It's ridiculous. Thank you guys so much. Like and subscribe. What do you have to say for yourself, little bro? Oh, you're telling them to subscribe and follow us on socials? Is that what you're saying? Yeah, follow us on socials? Yeah. Listen to little bro. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.